I have a Patreon, and I would very much appreciate it if you would check that out, please. Thank you. So, we've seen how a single player can dominate the GM's world with cats. We've seen how this party can receive simple orders to de escalate an army and then do the exact thing that would rally them instead. Now, let's see if they can track down the bard that sent them on this goose chase to begin with. You know, the one that cursed them to die in 24 hours? Oh boy. Right, so first off, I should give some context about who this bard is. Deep in the lost ruins of Nirmathas, there are some sacred relics, which in the wrong hands will cause great devastation. Our evil bard friend, and no, nobody in my party bothered to remember her name. We were new, we didn't really care, she was just the bard to us. Naturally wants them, but the tomb is warded to prevent those with malicious intent from entering. So she had to think up a new plan. She knocked out 5 prospect adventurers and gave them a note, telling them that they're all cursed and if they wanted to cure themselves to deliver a box to the ancient ruins in northern Nirmathas. Along the way, they did encounter her, but for all they knew, she was just a helpful wandering bard and didn't suspect a thing from her. So after a long quest that includes being chased by a nightmare, chopping down trees that just so happens to be treants, and picking up a chaotic mage sprite along the way, they made it to the ruins, its original purpose lost to time. Following their instructions, they opened the box in the main chamber, in which the bard and her nightmare horse immediately jumped out. See, what they delivered was a portal she could use to bypass the wards. She tricked us into serving her purposes, and without even undoing the curse as promised. After grabbing what she wanted, she triggered another of the ruins' traps, a giant animated armor, and slunk back into her box, with the intent of leaving the party to die. So that's who the party is after. You know, in between the moments in which they get themselves arrested. Speaking of, after the whole cat flood incident, reminder, there was a cat flood incident, the party dashed back to Flagon's bar to hide from the authorities. Sorrel's impenetrable swarm of cats were still there, as was Ninja, thoroughly disconnected to the plot of the campaign at this point. So we needed a new plan. There was word on the street that the city council was having a public meeting, with the evil bard an important figure at it. This was our chance to figure out just what she was planning, and maybe get the drop on her. We didn't need everyone, so Sorrel, Emil, and Co went, while Orpik and Flagon ended up staying behind for now. Hey Ninja, we have a mission that involves being sneaky. Would you like to join us? Alright. See you soon, I guess. Orpik and Flagon decided they might as well waste some time on lunch, except, oh yeah, the bard was inoperable due to cat flooding. Orpik was insistent on lunch, so he decided to lay low and go elsewhere to eat. Even though he was a wanted criminal, he figured, his face isn't that memorable. He was wrong. One guard caught on almost immediately. Meanwhile, our disguised party infiltrated the public meeting successfully. Our party friend was indeed there, as well as the counselors of Tragadon. Hey, how can we trust a rambunctious imp like you to keep quiet? Oh, please. Everyone knows that the most important skill of a compulsive troublemaker is staying hidden. That way, when you yell out surprise, they won't see it coming. With us hidden, we finally got to hear the bard's motivation for obtaining the relics. She wanted to start a secession war against the rest of the country of Nirmathas for reasons. Look, okay. You might have noticed that I've been kind of vague about what the things do or why she wants them. That's just because we don't remember. We never asked. We were young players. We didn't care about deep political intrigue stuff. We just wanted to bash random people's head in and wanted a vague justification for doing so. Our crew had a collective 2 brain cells, and so did our playable characters. Look, the point is, she's evil. Can we operate under that, please? Okay, moving on then. Meanwhile, subtle and graceful Orpik got the attention of a stampede of guards, his face not being memorable indeed. Orpik wanted none of this, and in an attempt to escape, dove right through the first glass window he saw, seemingly giving them the slip. Finally, they're off my butt. So I attracted some attention. Not if it was that bad. Surprise! Let's have a tangent about Orpik. Orphic is a half-orc barbarian and a zealot of the Pathfinder god Gorum. Now, Gorum, as with any other god, have whole swaths of lore attached to them, but we were new players and we didn't really want to read every single bit of extraneous information to start playing. So we just ad-libbed a lot of it and it just stuck this many years later. You could describe it as a new denomination of Gorumism. Gorum Protestant, if you will. For starters, canon Gorum is all about honor in battle, fight till your last breath, etc. Orphic's Gorum was like, hey, it's fun to kill people, let's do a lot of it. Orphic's battle cry was, praise murder! Even though murder is the domain of Norgorber, god of assassins and thieves. Also, Orphic was a cannibal, which was definitely not allowed in actual Gorum. When asked to talk about his god, Orphic would suggest instead to read his PowerPoint about it. No, I won't explain it. Figure it out yourself, he says you're so smart. Naturally, he's stupidly reckless. A town was attacked by 3 owlbears one time, and he jumped right in without even the rest of his party. It went as well as you would expect, though his one glory during the battle is that he got a critical hit off of one of them, and instantly cut off its head. He later used the head as a hat and trophy of his triumph. Of course, he didn't clean or tan it, so it just rotted away on top of his head as he paraded it all around. He was eventually convinced to put it away, but only until the Kragadon stuff is over. Oh, and there was an off-session RP we did in which he was a priest and he got co-married to the concept of fire? And he burned the church down to do it? God, that really happened, huh? And now, while trying desperately to escape notice, he crashed right into the heart of the meeting of everyone who wants him dead. And no sooner after he got his bearings did he make his second colossal mistake. He assumed that everyone in the room was on the same page about how evil this lady is. Don't worry, everyone. I will kill her. The bard recognized that things were going south, seeing as this is the second trap in a row that they've escaped. She knew, though, that their time was running thin, so she just had to stall them out in a safer place than this. She misty-stepped off the stage into the evacuating crowds, giving her cover. The party couldn't help it at this point. She was too far from reach. They rescued Orphic from the stage and fled. Though not before Cole burnt a bill proposal that would have counteracted the cat epidemic. Well, that was yet another bust. Almost as if the party is not very good at staying on task or something. Well, it's not over yet, and there are still other people, not yet shown, that might have some things to say about it. Later that evening, the sun was setting on the city of Kragadon, both literally and, though none realized it, metaphorically. As it did though, a trio of heroes walked up the entrance path, scarred from their previous battle, and ready to fight again. They were the heroes of Skelp. And whatever remained of Felix. And not a moment too soon, they had 12 hours remaining before the curse finally takes effect and kills the original party. They entered the city, taking in the splendor and dwarven craftsmanship of the city, as well as the shocking population of cats. They weren't sure where to regroup, so they entered the first bar they encountered, and inside, well, that. All of that, all of this, all of that, whatever this is, they encountered that. Hey, you guys are back! Felix, you exploded again? Perhaps. Did you make a fool of yourself again? What? I wouldn't call it making a fool of myself. I made a few missteps, but Gorum guided me to do it, so really, were they missteps? Were they? Ninja, what happened? Ko, will you tell us what happened? Well, I guess you could say it was a catastrophe. Ow!